Thank you so much for joining me today as we go through the Confirmation 2017 packet information if you happen to miss our information meeting on March 2nd, 2016. This is just a little bit of a preview about what we are expecting of your kids as they go through the St. Katharine Drexel Parish confirmation classes. To begin with, hopefully you have your packet in hand. It should have a red cover with the Holy Spirit in the form of a dove, as well as the 2017 confirmation packet. All the information that you need to know is really right there in that packet. So to begin, what are some of the things that we're looking for? Well, we're going to go through each of these a little bit more in detail. To start off with, please go ahead and open up your packet. You can see that we do have different page numbers that identify items that you will either need to keep or that you'll need to hand in back to Annamarie, that's me. We also have on page 1 some of the requirements, and that's what we're going to really talk about in detail today. Talking about your mass log, who are your sponsors going to be for your candidate, what kind of saint name are you going to choose, along with the retreats that we're looking and expecting for your candidate to complete, along with the service hours and what are some of those things that we're looking for. And then finally, as you can see, that we will talk about a letter to the bishop. At the very bottom of that page, on page 1, you'll see that we have a confirmation class 2017 Facebook group. This is really essentially for your kids so that they can get all of this information that will be sent to you in an email and an instantaneous notification. I will email parents, and then if you want, we'll have all of the information up on our website, which is sfskdyouthministry.weebly.com/confirmation. Go ahead and turn your page to our schedule. Alright, so here is our schedule. Some important dates I really want you to focus on is the candidate sponsor meeting. That's August 20th or 21st. We are looking that your sponsor will meet with their candidate on either that Saturday, August 20th or Sunday, August 21st. This is also mentioned the times, which is 6 p.m. for August 20th or 4 p.m. on August 21st. We also are on this schedule, you should see that it has the date, the time, the details of that particular event, where this is going to be located, along with who's needed at those particular events, and then on the very far right it says forms due. So this means that anytime that something is needed to me, that your candidate will hand those in. Another candidate scheduling information is the pre-confirmation interview. This is your candidate's going to meet with me one-on-one. They're going to make sure that I have all the information up to that date. We're going to just have a little 20-minute discussion, and there are going to be a variety of different times that your candidate will be able to meet with me. That will be sent out later on in the summer. As you can probably also see at this point, we do not have a date for confirmation. That will be given to us at the end of spring or the beginning of summer. Once we are aware of when and where confirmation will be held, we will let you know. Normally it falls around the second week of Lent, sometime in February, so just be aware of that. So page 3, this is your registration form. This really, I'm hopeful to have either as soon as possible or the latest to have it handed in by March 30th. That's a Wednesday. That's also when we have our large group discussion, and it's a vocational panel. So we're really hoping that you all will want to attend, or your candidates will be interested in attending. If you don't have all the information, that's totally okay. Right now, I'm just looking for as much information as possible and for that registration fee to be handed in. As you can see, it is $45 per candidate, and what this is just an opportunity for us to keep track of your candidate. It is to help with the paper amounts that we're using for your candidate, along with the fact that we do have quite a bit of some of fees associated with our classes. So that's why we ask for that $45. If, however, you are not able to pay for that registration fee, please contact me, and we're more than welcome to help you out in that instance. Small group leaders, as you are going to get to learn, we have 4 individual classes. We expect that you will actually have your kids attend those makeup classes. Those are really hard for us to make up, and they're only for if your child is deathly ill and unable to attend, or there's a funeral, a death in the family, or some kind of huge emergency, not because there's a basketball tournament or there was some kind of a tryout for volleyball or that you were going hunting, but actually that you have a legitimate reason for missing those classes. But we're also looking for small group leaders, and we're hoping that we'll have 5 to 6 parents who are willing to attend each confirmation class. Father presents all of the information at our classes, and then he breaks it into smaller sections. After those smaller sections, we ask that about 5 to 6 parents, they'll split up into small groups of about 6 to 8 students per adult, and that you'll have these questions that Father will offer to you, and you'll just break down, you're going to dive a little bit deeper with the confirmation candidates in those small group settings. Of course, nothing will be asked of you that you're uncomfortable with, and we're looking for parents who are willing to actually spend each of those 4 classes with us and not just be sporadic. So if this is something that you feel or your spouse would be able to do, please put your name down on page 3 where it says blank is interested in being a small group leader for confirmation classes. Commitment of the parents, this is on page 4. This is really saying that I promise to do this, which as you can see there's 5 bullet points here. 1, pray for our child, really offering your prayer and your support to your children as they move forward in this confirmation process. Secondly, that you're going to assist your child in confirmation homework. There's not a ton, but there is some, but to help them and to guide them. And that you're sharing your faith with your child at home, not just, showing them that it's a Sunday only event, but rather that it's a constant daily living prayer and faith connection. As you can see that you do actually have daily prayer in your home, that you're attending those weekend liturgies for either Saturday evening Mass or Sunday morning Mass, and then those holy days of obligation. And that you serve others through your prayers and your daily living as well. So that's the commitment. As you'll see, we ask that you sign both as parents or maybe as guardians, or just one if there's only one parent who is supportive of this venture. On the back side of that page, on page 4, it's actually now on page 5, is the commitment of the candidate. This is for the candidate themselves. This is saying, yes, I am blank, and I am part of St. Katharine Drexel Church, or maybe you're from a different parish, and that you agree to cooperate to the best of your ability with the parish, especially for the confirmation coordinator, that's myself, and then for Father Shockert, or for anybody who's helping us with the process of having you confirmed. And that you participate in the classes and activities that we ask of you. There's not a ton. This is actually one of the least amount of requirements for the diocese, especially in the Sioux Falls area. That you constantly pray for your personal growth as you go through this confirmation process, that you're asking for that faith, that hope, and that love, the gifts of the Spirit to come towards you even sooner, and just to really guide you as you go through this process. That you attend weekend liturgies either on that Saturday evening or those Sunday mornings or even Sunday night each and every weekend, as well as those holy days of obligation. That you grow and accept more responsibility in your family, in your church, whether that's with helping lecturing, altar serving, ushering, or the like. In your school, that you're taking more responsibility and getting things done rather than procrastinating. And within your community, that you're serving your community through the banquet, through people who are less fortunate or just even who need a little additional help. And that you, as a candidate, you're going to hand in all of your paperwork items on time. If you don't get that letter to the bishop in on time, for an example, you're actually pushing everyone's letter further back. And so that means that there's going to be some major problems and complications for me to be able to hand in everyone's letter, because they need to be handed in as a group. So just being aware of your responsibility with this confirmation class and getting those things in on time. When we look at a sponsor, sometimes it's difficult for us to find somebody that we really connect with, and that's going to help us develop in our faith, not just through the process of confirmation, but after we are confirmed as well. I personally had an issue where I had someone else kind of lined up to be my sponsor, and then about a month before I was confirmed, she was not able to come to my confirmation, and so I had to find someone else who was willing to be my sponsor. So there's a couple of requirements, and this is actually located on page 7. This goes through a lot of details that we're looking for, not just as St. Katharine Drexel Parish, but also as a diocese-wide. So what are some of the things that we're looking for? Well, you have to have all the sacraments of initiation. That's baptism, First Eucharist, and then confirmation. So they have to be confirmed. If they're married, they have to be married within the Catholic Church. And then the person has to be at least 16 years of age. And then they can't be the candidate's mother or father. So parents are not allowed. That's just because you're already in such a powerful position as parents. We want that to be separate. And so make sure that this is someone who's consistently going to Mass every single weekend, someone who is powerful to you, someone who you respect greatly within the church. Now, sponsors, on page 6, we ask that the sponsors fill this out and that they hand this back as soon as possible. Make sure that you ask them that they would be willing to be a sponsor, and that this is something that they are required to be at the confirmation Mass. Now, if possible, though not required, but actually something we would really like to see, is that maybe a sponsor could come, 2 out of the 4 confirmation classes, to be there as a witness, to help you to grow. I know I learned a lot just this past year attending the confirmation classes that were for our 2016 candidates, and that they were able to help me to grow as a Catholic, and that it could be a really great conversation starter for your sponsor and for you. All right, so there's 2 reports that we look for. The first one is a saint report. This is due our first Sunday confirmation class, which is September 25th. Of course, you can always hand it in earlier, but we want you to choose a saint that's going to help you through your life as a confirmed member of the Catholic Church. So not just as you go through the process of this confirmation, but also as you move forward after you're confirmed. We want you to have some kind of a connection with this saint, someone that you really identify with, someone that you want to become more like, maybe someone that is really special. Maybe it's a saint that falls on your birthday, or maybe it's a saint of a really special connection. I mean, if I had been confirmed when John Paul II was deceased and he was canonized, I would have loved to have chosen him, because he just really speaks volumes to me about his love for the youth and his desire to share his faith with other people. So you want to choose somebody that really helps you and continues to help you to grow. This is a printed regulation. Those are all found on page 8. We're looking for you to really give us more juice and more depth than just, well, this person was born here, they did these things, and the end. It's just a biography. I want you to connect. Show me, why is this saint chosen? Why did you connect with that saint? There's a worksheet on page 9. That's just for you. I don't need that information, but I would like you to fill that out. It's going to help you as you start to write your paper. The next report is our retreat. You are required to attend a retreat as a confirmation candidate, and it's part of a reflection to help you grow closer to God, to find Him in the quiet moments of your busy life. We all know that you're really busy. I know, because I'm busy, and I can't even imagine all the things that you're having to go through yourself. But we really want you to take the time to dive in a little deeper and to share in the different things that are going on in your life. So we hope that you'll complete this report 1 week after your retreat. This is found on page 10 and 11. Yes, it's a back and a front. This can be handwritten. It doesn't have to be printed out. You can just tear this out of your packet and you can hand it in once you finish your retreat. This must be handed in to me by Sunday, October 9th. I know that's going to take a big chunk of options away, but we do have some things available which we can talk about right now. So what can I do now? What are some of the retreats that are offered? The first one is our mission trip. This is through St. Katharine Drexel. We're going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is June 12th through the 18th. The goal is that we're going to take the time to help renovate homes for those who are less fortunate, whether they're poor, they have senior living, so they're not able to care for them as well. Maybe they're disabled physically, or maybe they're just not capable of taking care of their house as easily. You know, we're not expecting you to be extraordinarily skilled in hammering or sawing, but what it is a chance for you to get to know the community of Milwaukee and to give them a little bit of your time. It is a full week, and the registration fee is $165. Now don't get scared about the total. The parish does pay for $165 of the trip, and so you pay the registration fee. You are able to fundraise up to $166. Now this is through any of the St. Katharine Drexel youth fundraisers. We have pancake breakfasts, we have a beanbag tournament coming up in May, so there are options. I also have an epic discount fundraising card that you can add to your plate, and we can talk about that in more detail as we get closer to things. If this interests you, I have a limited amount of spots open. Registration is due March 30th, the same time that I absolutely need to have your registration form for confirmation. If this interests you, the sooner you get it in, the more likely you are to keep this as an actual spot open for you. Something that's really exciting for us here at St. Katharine Drexel is our Fire and Ice Retreat. This is the first time we're actually going to have this held within our actual parish. It starts April 29th at 7 p.m. That's a Friday, and it ends Sunday, May 1st at 2 p.m. Now the registration fee is $20, and you can fundraise the additional $30, or you can just go ahead and pay the $50 before April 1st, or if you have your registration fee after April 1st, it's $60. The registration form is due April 15th. And so it's a lock-in situation, so you're in closed doors, you bring your items, we're going to have a lot of awesome experiences. The Holy Spirit is the focus, which is so powerful, especially as you go through confirmation. It's going to start your year off and your process through confirmation really well. Of course, we only have a limited amount of spots for this, and so a lot of different students are interested in this, and it is for 6th through 12th graders. So it's not just for confirmation candidates, but it's for a variety of students. One of the final ones I want to talk about that is specific to St. Katharine Drexel is our Steubenville Conference for 2016. We're going to Rochester, Minnesota, July 15th through the 17th. The registration fee is $100, and you can fundraise up to the additional $200 that to meet the $300 amount for the time that you'd be in Steubenville. We do have air conditioning hotels. We have a charter bus, and it's a really great fellowship. 9 spots is not correct at this point since I've had a few registrations, but of course I would love to have as many of you who are interested in going as possible. The registration form is due March 16th, which is a Wednesday, so it's about a week and 6 days away from today. So if those interest you at all, registration forms can be found within the youth room, or they can be found at the youth bulletin board that's right outside of the entryway of the church. If you have any questions, you just give me a holler. I'm more than welcome to go through the process with you. D-Camp, which is a diocesan-wide camp in the summer, they have their time frames available on their website. That does count as a confirmation retreat as well as search. However, they do fill up quite quickly when it comes to search retreat, and that's a weekend, and their next one is June 10th through the 12th, and only a certain amount of students from St. Katharine Drexel are allowed. So if this is something that you would prefer to do, you don't want to get signed up right away. Another requirement for confirmation candidates are service projects, especially during the Corporal Works of Mercy, to give time, especially during our Jubilee Year of Mercy that Pope Francis has declared. It's a beautiful time to offer your time and to kind of downplay and sacrifice a little bit of your time, maybe being on social media, even just a little bit of your physical capabilities. So what are we requiring? 3 large projects or something that totals 20 hours. Now, this could have started January 1st and it ends December 10th. I know that's not entirely a full year, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities with our different summer trips and fundraisers. You can serve the community of Sioux Falls or wherever you might live in St. Katharine Drexel Parish. So the youth fundraisers, so pancake breakfast, any of the fundraisers that we have, say you want to help out with our turkey bingo fundraising or anything along those lines, those are going to count both as your service project and for monetary assistance for our trips that we have. So say you want to go to a mission trip this year in 2016 to Milwaukee, what you'll do is you can actually fundraise with a pancake breakfast, and for the mission trip you can actually use that as part of your service, and the youth fundraiser you can put that down as your service project as well. Then when you get back from either one or maybe prior to the mission trip, you would just want to have one additional smaller project, such as helping out at Mass with either lecturing, greeting, being in choir, ushering, and those things. So we're looking at, it might be between 15 to 25 hours total that you work, but that you have 3 projects, one that's really, really large, or 2 that are really, really large, that are going to really shine a light on some of the gifts that you've given to other people. Finally, some ongoing projects. Hopefully you'll have your mass log. It's also a red folder. In there is different sheets of paper. It also includes in the very beginning all of the days that are Sundays. Sorry I didn't add Saturdays, but I figured you could figure it out. All of the Sundays that are going to happen from now until a projected date for actual confirmation. Along with that are holy days of obligation that you should attend here in America. If you've heard of Matthew Kelly and Dynamic Catholic, what he says is that writing down really helps us. If we take 1 or 2 things from Sunday every single week, maybe that's from the homily, or maybe a communion antiphon, or maybe a song, or maybe something that was said to you during Mass or right before or after Mass, that you write those down and you just kind of have that as an opportunity to grow throughout this entire week. So we're asking that you keep a mass log. Now there's a few additional items that are listed there. Do you have to fill out every single one? No. We do ask that you do continue to keep a mass log every single Sunday. If you're going out of town, take your mass log. It counts there. We're not requiring at this point that you get a signature from the priest, but we do ask that you continue to keep this mass log throughout. The other one is the letter to the bishop. There's a sample letter on page 14 of your packet. This is going to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking for. We're actually looking on page 15. If you look there, there's a rough draft due on our 3rd confirmation class, November 20th. This is just an opportunity for me to make sure that you're actually on track, that you're grammatically correct, that you have your punctuation correct, especially when it comes to Mass and to the words of God and things of that nature. And then once I give you feedback, then your final draft will be due December 11th, which is our final class. So what happens? I lost my packet already, or maybe you haven't received it yet. Well, fortunately, we do have all of this information up on our website. It's sfskdyouthministry.weebly.com. You can go directly there and you'll see on the main tabs that we have Confirmation 2017 listed. Again, we do have the 2017 SKD Confirmation Facebook group for the kids so that they can have immediate connections. If you have questions or you have concerns, give me a holler, talk to Father Shocker, but, come towards me first, and if there's some reason I'm not able to help you with that, just, we'll make sure to answer your question. If there's something that maybe doesn't make a lot of sense, or maybe you just need a little bit more clarification, that is absolutely fine. Well, I hope that this gave you a little insight about what we're looking for our Confirmation 2017, and again, if you have questions, let me know. God bless.